anything extra deal to have the chance to play a spoiler for a team like Tampa, like Carolina?
No, I wouldn't phrase it that way. I would just say for us, there's a lot to continue to build upon, and it's the NFL. Whether you're fighting for a spot here or another club, like what you put on film matters, and I think that's the mindset of everybody. And for myself specifically, a lot of the guys here, we want to be here, because we feel like we're building and continuing to get better. And but that's our whole goal is just take it day by day, week by week.
Kellen kind of indicated that there's value in always playing well against divisional opponents because you're going to see them twice every year, and you also want to be playing your best football in December. So does all of that factor into this game, even though playoff berth isn't on the horizon?
Yeah, I think so. I think it. You want to play your best ball against your divisional opponents, like he said before, because of the familiarity. You want to be dialed on your game plan, on what they're doing well, and so I think for us it's another really good challenge, just because they playing really good football as of late, and they're a really good football team. So we got to be prepared. We got to go into it ready to go.
Well, it seems like this might be a hard question to answer, but it seems like in hard downs, hard situations, like you rise to that, confidence comes through, like it doesn't seem to bother you at all. Like, where is your confidence kind of like born from? Like, is it just there? Is it something that you developed over time? And do you feel like that kind of defines your game a little bit, like the confidence in yourself?
Confidence always fluctuates. Anybody who tells you different would be lying. There's always going to be lax slips of confidence, but for me, confidence comes from my preparation. So if I feel like I'm prepared, I've gone through it, then it's just another rep. I'm just going to go out there and operate. And, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. So, and then you just kind of go move to the next rep. But for me, it's just operating, whenever I'm operating, having fun, just trying to get the first down, get a touchdown, whatever it is. That's when I feel like I'm at my best. And that comes from that preparation. And I've been, times in the past where you have lacks of confidence, and that's okay. You have to figure out how to keep moving forward, and then to where you have that steady confidence, because there's going to be times where you're overconfident and then you try and do something a little too crazy and then you get humbled. So for me, I just try and stay steady.
The preparation, is that something that has changed for you since getting to the NFL in terms of how you do it? Like, have you learned things you didn't know in college in terms of how you need to prepare for an NFL game?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I've gotten better at preparing every single year. I think, I thought I knew something, this year in college, and you learn something completely new about preparation that next year, and then you kind of gradually and you build in new systems and being around different people, and obviously I've gotten to talking to Drew Brees and that preparation and that he utilized throughout the week, and then just kind of molding it into our schedule and how our coaches kind of utilize that. So, and I'm going to continue to learn more. I'm sure, hopefully you talk to me in a few years from now and you kind of dial in on maybe something else, but I think it's just sticking to that no matter the scenario, and then just operating it. So, for me, I'm still trying to find little ways, each week that I can continue to grow, and there's a lot more growth that needs to happen.
Tyler, we're doing a league-wide piece on the rookie class. Kind of going off that last question, what is the biggest lesson you've learned this season? Is it the preparation?
I think the preparation part, I've been able to see it from multiple standpoints of being in a backup role and having to operate the same way. That way, when I'm, I have this starter role, it's not any different. So I really enjoyed that process of just navigating that. And then, so it hasn't felt different, but also from the standpoint, I feel like I've learned just the NFL schedule and regimen as far as, you can't really get tied into wins and losses as far as at certain points in the season. I think you see it all over the NFL is like there's going to be fluctuations of maybe winning streaks, losing streaks, or game to game, and you're going against the best guys in the world, so you have to be dialed every single week, and whether you win or lose. So that's for me, it's been really fun just because you have to be so process oriented. It's almost robotic that way, and obviously there's an emotional element that we try and bring into through media or the game, but I think when we can be as players dialed in the locker room and just have fun that way, then that's when you see that success.
Do you have any advice that you would give to young players that are entering the draft next year?
Yeah, just don't listen to anything that anyone's saying as far as in the media. The mock drafts, all that stuff's crazy right now. We have, so many weeks left in the season. Stuff changes day to day. I remember I wasn't even on anybody's radar. I remember when I got picked, there was probably a lot of people upset And it's just going to continue to change. I think all the guys coming out, it's going to, you know, just go through your process, be yourself throughout the whole draft process, be authentic to who you are, about your journey, about your shortcomings, all that stuff. And I think it's going to work out the way it's supposed to.
When you, I think you spoke before he did after the game. When DeMario Davis says something, I don't know if you heard his comments, but when he says you have it, I mean, does that resonate with you? Does that motivate you in some way? I mean, those are strong words from a guy who's been there, done that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know anything DeMario says it's like gold, you know, and he's one of the best leaders I've ever been around, from a football standpoint, from a community standpoint. Like, he motivates me to be the same dude every single day. We have, you know, different personalities, different positions, but I just have so much respect for him, and that goes for all of my teammates. I want to earn their respect. And coming in the locker room, I remember just looking up to all these guys, and I want to be able to be a leader myself and continue to grow that role. So obviously very gracious, and I want to continue to prove myself.
But like that draft process, since you brought it up, like, how do you handle that when people are saying dumb and unfair things and kind of like not giving you a chance? And it's got to be frustrating. Like, how do you not allow that to affect you and to stay positive and not let it mess up your mental health? And like, how do you deal with that?
You know, there's the old saying where you don't, you know, always look at it, and a lot of times I don't even really see it. But then there's always the reality of just life, and sometimes it can creep in. But for me, I've literally seen both sides of it, to where, I mean, you guys are gonna be the same people, you know, when and if I have a bad game, going to be saying that I had a bad game or I need to continue to be better. So I'm not gonna blame you. But if I have a good game, you guys are going to be the same people that said I had a good game. So it's just part of it, you know. I don't really have any personal indications with all that stuff. And for me, it's just my job is to keep getting better and keep learning. So I just look at it, and it is what it is. And I think, you know, like I said before last week, the people in the locker room, the people in the building, I really want to earn their respect.
Yeah, I think some people have different philosophies on like bulletin board materials, stuff like that. Are you the type that would like use that as motivation, or do you kind of have your own motivation? Like, how do you kind of view it?
I mean, that's a good question, because I think the answer is both. I think anybody would, you know, I'm a human. I want to prove people wrong. I want to prove doubters wrong. But at the same time, like, that's not why I'm playing. You know, I play because I freaking love it. You know, I love to go out there and practice and hang out with the guys and just go eat and play football, and, you know, like that's why I'm doing it, you know. But there's a human element of it as well. So I think when you can kind of hone both of those in to where you're not, you know, trying to go, you know, crazy as far as your play and trying to reflect that. I've been at certain points in my career where you feel like you have to go prove with the world, you know, and that's not necessarily a healthy mindset either. So it's a little bit of both.
Do you think having to play, obviously, the last couple of weeks and whatnot, with like a banged up offensive line, like, do you think that's kind of helps your development at all, you know, more of a challenge and being able to attack that?
No, I mean, I think the offensive line, they've done a great job. Everyone who's stepped up, you know, everyone's banged up. You know, every team has got guys banged up, and so it's just part of it. And I think they've done a really good job. And it's the NFL. Everyone stepped up and executed their role really well. And I got to continue to do my job and be ready to play and be ready to perform and get everyone ready to go. So I think you look at every team, and that's part of the game. And you got to go out there and win regardless.
If we had a chance to like kind of like really go back and take a look at what happened in Tampa. We asked you about this after the game, but like when you're hitting on a couple design runs, do you think that does free stuff up for Devin, Roderick, etc.?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think just the element of just keeping them honest, you know, being able to kind of have the defense on their toes as far as, you know, not knowing who has the ball, and I got to continue to do my job of that on certain plays. So I think that's an element that I feel like I can continue to grow at and be good at. So I think our offensive staff and the guys on the team, you know, did a really good job that whole game, just kind of answering the bell with, you know, wasn't necessarily an easy kind of game to come in and play from the element standpoint.
And do you, like, just considering the fact you have had some like injuries in the past, like do you pay any extra attention to like make sure you're getting down, like, you know, touchdown, first down, get down sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly that. I think, you know, there's I mean, there was another rep where I saw Antoine Winfield, and there was that certain point in the game, is it worth trying to truck him and get 2 more yards maybe? No. I mean, that's probably wouldn't really work out that great anyway. So he's a great player, and I'm going to try and get as much as I can, then get down. If I can feel I can get more, then I'm going to get more. So I think, 4 years ago, I would probably do something stupid and try and hurdle or truck him or whatever. And, I've gotten hurt. So, but it's both. You're going to try and get the first down. And I think I feel like I've had the opportunity to be able to learn from that, and maybe in years in the past where you're not playing scared, but you're not playing dumb either.
Do you think people, just because of the Louisville offense and you were asked to do different things, people almost forgot, like, when you were at Tech and Oregon, you were running a lot. Is that part of your game that it just feels nice to kind of remind people about?
Yeah, I think, I said it, just whatever it's going to take as far as that. Like, I think there's the best offense I feel like I watch on film are extremely balanced, and that is including in the run game as well. So I think that any way we can kind of include all of that, like you said, like Louisville was a little bit different offense, but that was also helped me out so much just from the run game standpoint and controlling different things. So I think any way we can kind of continue to build and grow off it, but not necessarily trying to go crazy, as far as designing runs that way. I'm not Lamar or anything like that, but just using my legs as much as I can.
When Catherine asked about the draft, you talked about like not paying attention to that kind of stuff. On the flip side of that, and this week you've gotten a lot of praise, and it's like Louis Riddick and a lot of people that hyped during the draft have been, like singing your praises. Is that hard to compartmentalize that or not pay attention to that too? Because I think we're all drawn to, ooh, that's positive, and I like that.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to what I said before is, and specifically to Lewis, and obviously I think people are going to have their opinions that they formulated. I think we just had a good relationship because he called 2 or 3 of my games, so we've been able to. That was probably the reason he got to watch a lot more film. And I think for me, what I put on tape, I want that to do the talking. I want that to reflect what people talk about. So I can't control what anybody says, or positive or negative. So I try not to let it to affect me, because it's going to change. It's going to change week to week, day to day, good or bad.